Oh man, Classroom Elite. Classroom of the Elite keeps freaking getting me hyped for next week, man. Next week is going to be something special to watch. And this week was also very fun and very special. Because we finally see the defeat of Kushida. Well, I guess for the time being, because right now she's changing her objectives and putting her target out on our boy Ayanokoji. But man, this episode was great. More peak Classroom of the Elite content, which it's funny because I'm watching like Horus Recoil, and I'm just like, dude, this is the animated season. And then I see Classroom of the Elite, I'm like, shit, Classroom of the Elite is so damn good too. I don't know which right now, those two are my favorite, anime of the season. They're my top two. I don't know which one I would choose more. I would probably choose like Horus Recoil more because it was so unexpected and where the story is headed in that show. But this week's episode of Classroom the Elite pretty much focused on the test, and well, let's just say Kushida pretty much got fooled out. Which, funny enough, the title of the episode was called "If You Make a Mistake and Do Not Correct It, This Is Called a Mistake." I'm guessing the title is just hinting out at the fact that Kushida made her mistake and I guess fall into the hands of Suzune because, well, Suzune pretty much just trapped her, and then even on top of it, Ayanokoji had a backup plan set in place. Had a backup plan set up in case the event happened if Suzune's plans were and ended up freaking, I guess, messing up or backfiring on her. But this week's episode, we start out with the study group. The one study group, they end up making like a whole, like, I guess, friend group, I guess you can say, that is, I guess, led by Ayanokoji, because they call it the Ayanokoji group or something like that. And he's like, whoa, wait a second, why am I the lead man here? They're like, because it's better for us. But that's cool. We also have the one girl that they focused on last season, is in the group now. I guess she wanted to join the group, and at first the one blue-haired girl, I thought, and I forgot their name. Sorry, I don't know their names, but the one blue-haired girl, I'm like, 'cause at first she didn't want her to join the group, but then all she had to say, oh, you just have to freaking give us a nickname or your given name, and then we'll be good. So that was pretty much cool and everything. But at the same time, in the study group, even before this happened, Ryuan's group shows up, and this one girl named Hiyori just shows up and pretty much says, and I guess they were identifying Ayanokoji because Ryuan was like, so are you going to respond to the message I sent you? Are you going to reveal yourself? Because we obviously know the mastermind, the sender who's been doing this entire thing, is Ayanokoji. Ryuan's on to him, but he's trying to get him to freaking blurt out, trying to get him to say, or I guess you can say slip up in effort of finding him out, and Ayanokoji's just not really doing anything about it. Well, he's keeping his mouth shut because he doesn't want to put it into his hands. So that's the whole thing there, and Hiyori pretty much just tells the one blue-haired girl, like, I hope we can hang out at some point. So I don't know if this is some sort of mastermind plan. I think maybe he was trying to freaking, I guess, in a way, I guess Ryuan was trying to play an intimidation trick on Ayanokoji to see if it would break him a little bit faster. But again, we know Ayanokoji is a very hard person to break. If not, it's doable. Like, I'll be shocked for the day Ayanokoji actually gets figured out and he's actually put in a situation to where it's like, okay, how the fuck do I get out of this situation because I'm stuck? So yeah, but that's the whole thing there. Now, testing wise, the whole thing is that Ryuan and Kushida pretty much come up with a plan. They give the freaking test questions, or Ryuan gives the test questions to Kushida, which is the ones that she wanted, so then she can end up winning this bet with Suzune. And it's the whole thing of, betting the fact that Suzune and Horikita and Ayanokoji will both get expelled. So it's an interesting thing. So she gives the exam to the teachers, or even before that, even actually, yeah, before that, what is it? Ayanokoji actually calls Kei. So this Kei Ayanokoji relationship is building. And he's like, yeah, our study group is going to the movies. And, she's just like, oh, well, then what movie are we seeing? And he's like, whoa, hold on a second. I said it's only me and my study group. You're not even coming because you're not in our study group. And it's kind of the whole thing of he tells her, listen, I need you to do this for me. And she's like, wait, really? That's a risk. That's a really big risk you want me to do. And he's like, well, we got to do it. So she was like, okay. I'm like, oh, so this relationship between Kei and Ayanokoji, our boy, is growing. I'll just say that, especially with what we see in this episode and where I guess the story is going to be headed. But it's just funny how she just they're talking to each other, and he says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go see a movie with my study group," and she wants to join in on this, because she wants to hang out with him because she's pretty much in love with the guy. She likes Ayanokoji. She likes her boy Ayanokoji. Honestly, I might have to say this: Kei Kasawagi might have to be my best girl of this show. I do like Susan. Susan is probably like my leading second, but I think I'm liking Kei a lot. I do like Kei a lot. But going on with that, there's the whole study, the whole meeting about what's going on in everybody's study groups, and all of a sudden we just have it to where Kei is starting to press Kushida, pretty much saying, oh my God, what's in my throat? She's pretty much telling Kushida, like, why are you being pretty much so fake? Why just show your true self, pretty much. Just say you don't want somebody like me to succeed on the test. And it gets to the thing, like I said, this is all on a part of Ayanokoji's doing. So she pretty much gets mad, and she puts, I guess, this juice or this tea or this drink on her, spills it on her. And obviously the other's like, you need to freaking calm down, Kei. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry. And she apologizes to Kushida, and she's like, hey, let me wash your clothes, please? Kushida isn't, she doesn't want to at first, but eventually she gives in, and that's the mistake Kushida made. Kushida should have just not given the clothes to Kei, but even then, there's still another mistake. But like I said, she gets the test answers from Ewan. She takes it to the teacher, and she pretty much tells the teacher, like, yeah, apparently there'll be somebody to come in and try to substitute, or try to change these questions and try to substitute these questions for their own benefit. If anything, please frickin' just get these. And if they bring it up to you, and if this other person brings up another set of test questions to you, just pretty much destroy it without not giving a shit and just not caring. So that's the thing. And as I'm watching this episode, I'm just like, how are they going to get out of this situation? It seems like she's winning. It seems like she's going to win, but that's Classroom the Elite. You think something, and then they subvert your expectations. Which, funny enough, I probably would have did the same thing myself, actually, when you think about it, if you're trying to have somebody who's willingly going to sabotage you. But, that's the thing. But the day of the test happens. We have Ayanokoji talk to that one girl that's kind of been hitting on him. I think it's starting last week. And pretty much they're just talking about the test of like how they think they'll do. And it's the whole thing of like, Ayanokoji's like, I think we'll do fine and stuff like that. So good luck on the test. And all of a sudden, Kei shows up out of nowhere, and she's like, oh, hey, what's going on, guys? Hey there, buddy. You want to go get some coffee or something? Just you and me, like, friends we should. We want to leave Ayanokoji alone to let him do his own thing. And she's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess. Well, I guess we'll see you later, Ayanokoji. And she pretty much runs off with the girl that's been hitting on our boy. And then the fake boyfriend of Kei, pretty much her friend, pretty much said like, oh, I see that I never, or he kind of plays it off. He's like, Wow, I've never seen a Kei get very jealous like that. And Ayanokoji's like, what the hell do you mean, guy? And he's like, dude, I've been dating her long enough to know how she feels and, the way she acts. And I can tell she's got the hots for you, my guy. And Ayanokoji's just giving his look that he typically gives, his dead-eyed look, and he's pretty much like, hey, the dude's pretty much saying like, dude, I think you owe it to her to at least give her a chance. Pretty much he says he's pretty much telling Ayanokoji, you should go out with Kei because I think it would actually be better for her to actually be in a non-fake relationship, be with somebody that she ultimately really does like, she cares about, and maybe that person, which I think would be hard for Ayanokoji, but for somebody to actually care a lot about them. But we kind of see that Ayanokoji actually does care about Kei to some degree. He actually does look out for her in his own way. He's using her in his own ways because he's saying, I will protect you. You just have to listen to everything I say. And in a way, it's like a threat because she already knows, like, oh, this guy is like, he's a freaking genius. I don't want to get on his bad side. So she's going to listen to him 100%. But through this listening process, she actually grew to actually like the dude genuinely. And she's like, she's head over heels for our boy Ayanokoji. So this guy is putting this little thing in his mind of the fact like, hey, you should actually go out with her. She's not too bad of an individual. I think you might like her, and I think it would actually be better for her if she's actually in a relationship that's not fake. But it's like, I don't know how you portray that for Ayanokoji if you would actually, just fuck with her and just say, you know what, it would probably be even better if I could use her if I actually do go out with her. But we don't know. Maybe Ayanokoji actually genuinely does go out with her. I don't know. I'm guessing they're going to a scene where they're putting that point in his head like, you know what, maybe I could go across things if I actually are across things better if I actually do end up dating Kei, which is actually shocking because I typically, even back in season 1, I typically shipped him with Suzune, but hey, if it's him and Kei dating, I'm fine with it. I like Kei, her personality's cool, and you can definitely see like she cares about him and she likes him a lot. And at the same time, especially what we see at the end of the episode, he definitely does care about her, which I think inspires a little bit of what the dude said, kind of inspires a little bit of what the thing is. But then again, he did say he was going to protect her no matter what. After those girls attacked or pretty much bullied her. So yeah. But anyways, the test happens. They get the test questions, and Ayanokoji, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Are they going to be shocked that the test questions are going to be switched? Is Ayanokoji be like, the test questions are switched? I knew that would happen. But no, Ayanokoji pretty much says, the test questions are exactly what we had in place. But then he looks up a bit, and he's like, in the meantime, though, and you see Kushida, and she's just like, she's freaking out. She is losing it. And then the test is over. Pretty much, it seems like everybody would have did a good job on the test. But Kushida, she's very pissed off. And I'm like, that's not her question she got, didn't she? That's not the question she's asked for. So she gets up, she's pissed. And even the other classmates are like, what the hell's her problem? Why is she so pissed off? All of a sudden, she confronts Ryuin, and she pretty much says, you fucking, betrayed my ass, pretty much, because those weren't the questions that you gave me. And obviously Ryuin's like, oh, you finally caught on. Yeah, those weren't the questions. And pretty much, Ryuin goes on to say, you see, you thought you had Horikita fooled, but no, actually Horikita got you fooling. You fell into her spider's trap. We pretty much find out in a flashback that Horikita at some time went earlier to the teacher to give the test questions and pretty much told the teacher, hey, do not accept any other of the classes, extra questions that they send your way. If anything, just get them, act as if you're going to take them, or act as if you haven't taken any questions at all. And when you get that second set of questions, just pretty much put it in the paper, destroyer, or the paper shredder and just destroy the questions because we already have the set of questions, and the teacher agreed to that. I'm guessing maybe she had to give some points up for that, so hey, that's fine. And pretty much that's the issue. And then also Ryuen's like, oh yeah, also you got you also got or Ryuen pretty much tells Kushida, that she would have lost regardless, because if she got the test questions, all they could do is this. And she goes up to her, and I'm like, what is he doing? And he pulls out this sheet, and this was this test sheet. And on the side, we had Ayanokoji talking to Kei, and pretty much Ayanokoji said, yes, because of what you did, you were able to put, the cheat sheet. So either way, if we have failed in if we had gotten, not the test questions that we wanted, at the end of the day, she had the test questions of Ryuen's test right then and there as a cheat sheet. So then all the teacher would have to do is come up to her, find the paper, see the cheat sheet, and then Kushida would have gotten expelled from the school. And either or, Kushida was freaking stuck. And we find out that Ryuen actually made a deal with Ayanokoji to do that, to give pretty much the answers to Class C's test, pretty much. And that's the thing. And pretty much Ryuen's like, well, too bad, you got freaking fooled. And pretty much he walks off, and Kushida is just pissed off because she lost. They have her and Horikita have a confrontation, pretty much about admitting to the bet and everything. And pretty much Kushida's like, fine, I won't freaking bother you anymore. I won't freaking try to freaking get you kicked out of the school. I'll agree to your bet and I'll play nice with you. But that doesn't mean I don't like you. I still hate you. And it's funny because as they were shaking hands, she's like, oh, I really fucking hate you. And she's saying that in that cutesy voice too. But Horikita's still on this whole thing of like, you can say that, but I'll find some way to get you to like me. Which I think is a lost cause. After watching last week's episode, I'm like, dude, you should have just put the stipulation that she gets expelled, because this girl is fucking crazy. And on top of it, Kushida's like, well, that's over. You may be safe, but our bet only said I would only be, I wouldn't be messing with you, Horikita, anymore. But that doesn't mean I can go mess around with somebody else. But that means I can go mess around with somebody else. And then Suzune puts it 2 and 2 together, and she's like, wait, you're going after her. We find out that pretty much Kushida is now 100%ly targeting Ayanokoji, because in the initial bet, it was only Suzune would be spared. Ayanokoji was nowhere to be found. So Suzune might have made a mistake there, because now Kushida is going to do whatever it takes to frickin' get Ayanokoji out of this school, get him expelled, because guess what? He knows the entire story. So Kushida made a mistake. Suzune made even a bigger mistake, because now Kushida's rampaging monster, or her rampage is going on this time, squarely focused on trying to get Ayanokoji expelled. So who knows? Maybe she was the one that ended up sending Ryuen a picture of Kei, which at the end of the episode, pretty much we see that Ryuen's just wanting to he's just tired of getting fooled out by the mastermind, which is Ayanokoji, and he pretty much wants to find out his identity. And in an effort to make him prove and show out his identity, he's going to target Kei. He sends this in an email to Ayanokoji, and probably one of the most badass ways we've seen a Classroom of the Elite fucking way to end the episode. Freaking Ayanokoji pretty much in a reply to him, without saying it like the official translate what the subs were saying, pretty much like Ayanokoji sees what Ryuen sent him, and it was the whole thing is like, you better reveal your identity to me, otherwise this person's going to be the next person to pretty much get hurt, or I'm targeting this person right now. And Ayanokoji on his phone, he opens up the image. It's of Kei, of course. because obviously he had to have been seeing Kei hanging around with Ayanokoji, or maybe this is another thing with Kushida, where Kushida's been seeing him and Ayanokoji and Kei hanging out together. Said, "Hey, I'm going after this dude, Ayanokoji. He'll break. You can tell this. You'll tell who this is, by just having this person. I've been seeing these two hang out a lot, and it's Kei. And pretty much in the way the episode ends off is Ayanokoji looking at this and pretty much saying, bet, you want to fuck with me, dude? Then trust me, I won't let you do what you think you're gonna do, because I'm gonna be the one to outsmart your ass, and I'll tell you, don't fuck with me, the mastermind." Which was absolutely badass. That's where the episode ends off. So Ryuin and Ayanokoji are gonna be fighting each other. Well, not fist fighting, but you know what I mean. It's gonna be a brawl of mental battles. And our boy Ayanokoji has to pretty much protect our girl, maybe his future girlfriend Kei, from Ryuin, because oh man, I hope things don't get in something, but I'm gonna be very intrigued to see how this season ends off. This is great. This was a great episode. I enjoyed it. I love Classroom of the Elite. I can't wait for next week. My Mondays. This one makes my fucking Mondays. This show makes my Mondays, but I can't wait for more. Anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of Classroom of the Elite, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Classroom of the Elite content. Till then, guys, peace.